Hi everyone, Emma here. I'm so excited to show you the Best Friends Forever, the second part to the peyote stitch bracelet. We are going to take the strip and attach it to a bracelet form. Let me grab over here. I'm looking all over. So this is the bracelet form I'm using. You can use whatever you have. If you have one of these, sometimes they're thicker, so you can adjust your pattern accordingly. So for today's video, what we're going to do is we're going to attach this beautiful deer skin. We're going to put the rough, unfinished side underneath, and then we're going to fold it over. I have to apologize. This video, when I was doing the peyote strip, at the end of the video, it cut off. Now, thank goodness it cut off just as we were ending. But if you watch my videos, you know I usually thank a few people and, maybe ask a question, that kind of thing of the subscribers to see what people are working on. Anyway, the camera turned off and I didn't realize that till I went to do this video, and I was partway through the video and I just happened to look up at the camera and I saw it turn off. I was like, what is going on? So let's hope this doesn't happen again. If it does, we'll see what we can do. And I have tech support looking into it right now, after this video. Her name is Jennifer. She's my tech support. And I may end up with a new tablet. That's kind of what happened to my old tablet. It just couldn't tolerate or handle the size of the files. I think I changed my settings to 1080p, so it's quite a good quality video. And that's because when I do enlargements, like say this, I really want you to see all the individual beads, of course, because that's what we're doing. We're putting beads together. So, big thank you to John Bead for the Best Friends Forever Curiosities box number 19. It was full of goodies, and we got Cylin Beads in there. So this video was doing the peyote strip. So that one's done. If you haven't seen it, take a look at those videos. And so we'll put these aside. We got different colors. So you may have gotten a pink one. You may have gotten a cream colored one or a butter color one. These are the macaroon line. Now the Cylin beads are now available at Michael's in the US, at Artbeads in the US, and in Canada, both US and Canada at the craft shop on Amazon. Now, in Canada, two of the bead shops that I've seen, if you've heard of any others that are carrying the Cylin beads, there's the Northern Bead Shop, and what's the second one? If I think it'll be in the description if you need it. So let's get started. This video should be very quick and easy. You'll be surprised at how easy it is to work with this. I will see what we can do. I don't have any ultra suede. If I had some ultra suede, I'd show you how to do it. It's basically the same technique. Ultra suede's a little softer than faux leather. Most of my stuff is faux leather. It would not bend over the edge like this. So that's why I don't show you. Now, what you could do is you could stitch this. Now, I always say I don't like putting glass directly on metal. So you might want to put some stiffy felt on the back side and then put this. But you could actually take a strip of faux leather. You know what? We might try that in another video, and then stitch from the faux leather up to this beadwork. So yeah, should be doable. So if you don't have access to leather, you can get some scrap pieces in a bag from Michaels, and I've looked at the stuff they have in the bags, and I've seen some pretty nice stuff. It doesn't take a lot to make something, so the links will be in the description for the Curiosities box. Next month's available. It's called Victorian Steampunk. I'm losing my mind. Oh, so, and I have some special. Carmi sent me some new goodies. I'm organizing things to show you that. So you need your bracelet form. You need a strip of the deer skin. What I've done is made it 2 widths across, and the length I just cut where you can see this is where the actual hide was already cut, but I knew that it would be long enough. Now we're not going to apply it this way, but you can look at it this way just to get. So add some to the end. You won't need that much, but it's better safe than sorry till you get used to doing this. Then you could maybe draw out a template for yourself and use that all the time. So what we're going to need, you need those 2 items. You need some scissors. You're going to need some thread. Now I wanted to do, when I was doing this video yesterday, it's really hard to see the white thread on the hide. I was going to do it in black, but that makes no sense because when we go to add this at the end, you're going to see the black thread on the end. So I have to do it in white, but you're going to see it's such a basic stitch that you don't have to worry. So let's get our thread ready. You're going to need a needle. I would use a size 12 needle. You will need some pliers to pull your needle through. If you have issues with your hands like I do, I use the pliers and it works great. It doesn't bother me. But if I were to just use my thumb and forefinger to try and pull it through, it would never work. So I've got more than a wingspan. That's probably way more than what you need. And I apologize if I didn't sound excited at the beginning. I was just going to do a test video. And then I'm like, oh, let's just go for it. So I'm going to start with a new needle. My needle's up here is pretty bent. And actually, you know what? Let's just use the bent needle. It's not going to make a difference. It's going to be super bent by the end of this video. Let's get that in here. This also comes in like a yellow color. I think the yellow color is the natural color, and then they bleach it or something. I'm not sure of the process, so don't quote me on that. I got my hide. I got it like a half hide of this at Tandy Leather. They have free delivery after a certain amount. It's not a lot that you have to purchase. And it was only $30 for a half hide. And you should see, I put it away. There's tons of it. It's a big hide. So let's just move some things so they don't get caught up in my beadwork. Go ahead and put a knot at the end. And you don't need a tail, so make it as small as you can, like that. And I might even cut that off. Let's cut this little bit off, so that's what you have. And I'm going to tilt this down so you can see what I'm doing. So let's take this first. We are going to go from the inside and fold over this way. And the reason being is we want a perfect no lines inside. So that's how you do it. And what this also does, because we've done a double wide here, is it's going to bring the fold together here, and it creates a nice layer of cushioning for your beads. So find the middle, something like that, and then find the middle of your bracelet. You can see it doesn't have to be that accurate. Just fold this over like that. And this is really cool because of the circle. It really holds it in place. Look at that. Gotta love it. And it's very forgiving. So even if you're not completely centered, even once you've stitched, you just kind of move it with your fingers side to side and it will readjust so it gets perfectly even in the middle. Now, I always start stitching from the middle down when I'm doing a bracelet like this. Again, like I said, once you get efficient in this, you can start from the end if you want. But this way it ensures that I have lots on each end to finish my bracelet. I have in the past, when I was new to beading, started at one end and got to the other end of one of these and there wasn't enough felt to go all the way. I was using felt at the time. So we're going to start and we're going to bring our needle underneath the first layer. Doesn't matter which side you do. So you can see it is hard to get that in there. So that's why I recommend the size 12 needle. And of course the eye doesn't want to go through. Just pull it through with your pliers. Bring that all the way through, so right to the knot. Okay, and then we're going to go and we're going to cross over to the other side. Bring your needle through and then kind of go on an angle so that you go up a bit. You do not have to go like very close to the other one, the other stitch. And we're just going to go back and forth like this until we have it completely covered. And then I'll show you how to do the ends. So, see, pull it together, that. Oh. So you can see it's maybe, it's off to the side like that. Just take your fingers and move it. Now let's go again, and you can tighten it if you want. You're going to find your happy medium with that. If it gets loose, it's very easy to pull that tight. So now go up on an angle on this side. And I just kind of wiggle my needle through. Hold on to your hide. It helps the needle go through. Use a thimble if you're doing what I just did where I was pushing with my finger. You definitely want a thimble for that. You'll get done this and you're like, why do I have cuts in my fingers? There we go. Oh, I was like, why is there a hole there? That was from yesterday. Maybe I could get my holes, same holes. So you can see the needles already. Even if you have trouble pushing it in, just use your pliers, pull that through. Then once the needle's through, the thread goes through pretty quick. Okay. Let's go here. And you can see this is like, it's almost like, maybe I didn't cut this straight enough. Not to worry, because you see, once we have it all on, you can just go around and press down on it and it flattens quite well. So let's come to this end here. Go to the other side, like that. So you can see how very quick this would be. And even when you get to the end of the one side and you think, oh, I don't have enough on this side, you can always look at how it moves pretty easily through here. So this is, I should tell you, this is a technique that's used in Indigenous beading. And the person I learnt this from, and you know what? I apologize. I don't know his name. His channel is Razmataz. I'll link the channel. He has some great videos. There's tons of wonderful Indigenous artists that are very kind enough to show us these techniques that are, cultural in nature. So we really appreciate it. And I am very respectful to not copy their beadwork. From what I've talked to people about, it's okay to use the techniques using your own style. So I'll just keep going down the side. I wanted to talk to you about something, and now I can't remember what it was. I've been a little more relaxed, and normally I'm very, I started my channel and I talk to people as if we're just hanging out for the afternoon. And I know that a lot of people love that about my channel. And I think over time I was just started getting more where I did less talking and more instruction. Now, for something like this is going to take a while of just going through. So show you till I get to the next step. And what I'll do is I'll do the one side, go to the next step, and then I'll pause the camera. I'll do the other side, and when we get to the ending step here, I will show you. And then in the third video, we'll attach, because it does take some time to attach the strip, because we're going to go through and attach it almost every other bead. So it does take a while. It's so worth it though. But yeah, so I started just recently. Things have been quiet on YouTube. My numbers seems to be going up, my subscribership, but and views are going up, but not a lot of comments. So I thought, you know what, maybe I'll start doing what I call my jibber jabber. So I appreciate comments people have said, oh, we love your jibber jabber. Feels like we're sitting down having a cup of tea with you. So I really appreciate that. I think one of the things I wanted to talk about is I am getting close to 40,000 subscribers, and Carmi has asked me about it. She wants to offer up a prize or a giveaway, and I stopped doing giveaways. I used to do them for every 1,000 subscribers. I did a giveaway, and I usually did like 3 prizes each time. The last year that I did them, people weren't claiming their prizes, and the very last one I did, there was 3 winners and nobody claimed the prize. And I don't know what other people give for prizes, but I was giving stuff. They were not stuff that a sponsor had given me. They were actual packages of beads from my stash. So they were not open packages. They were like brand new stuff. And I apologize, it may sound that I'm like snotty about it, but it was, I was hurt. I'm like, why wouldn't you want this from me? I'd want it from me. So it was really frustrating. I would go searching for the people on YouTube. So I'd go to the comment that I used for determining who got the prize. I'd go to previous comments that person had given and stuff like that. So, and I apologize if you're one of those people, and because a few of them I did get a hold of, they were so apologetic, but I had no idea why. There was no information given to why people were not accepting my gifts. So sad. But anyway, so One of the things that I did come across is I think people follow my channel. They know how much content I put out because I do a lot of content in a week. And so they'll watch out for my videos. But I'm just going to take a look at this. This is like coming apart. I just want to make sure there's no knots. So, so people keep an eye. The reality is that you should be subscribed to my channel, first of all, to participate in the giveaways so that we don't get people that just come for the giveaways kind of thing. It's not fair to the people who comment on every video or participate in what we're doing and stuff like that. So, so you should be subscribed. And I think what I figured out was people were not subscribed to my channel, or they didn't have their comments turned on, notifications turned on. So if they might see that I posted a video, but they wouldn't see that in a comment that they had won. So I guess that's what I'm getting at, is sounded like people didn't have their comments turned on or their notifications turned on. Because here's the other thing. I'm not getting notified of comments that some people put inside a comment, which I've never had that problem before. And I think it's because YouTube changes things all the time. So you have to kind of stay on top of it and make sure you change your settings to match your needs. So if you want to find out if I've commented on your comment, that's how you're going to find out, by checking your notifications. So I've adjusted mine, and hopefully that problem will not exist anymore and we'll all get prizes. Carmi's going to get us some prizes. Let me, I feel like maybe we need to clip this piece here. Let's look at this. That's pretty good. So we'll work right to about here, right about here. And then we're going to take this and fold it, and then we're going to cut these pieces. So let's keep going. And you can see the thread, not too bad. So I hope everybody's doing well. It's been yucky cold here with ice and snow and all that lovely stuff. And both Jen and I just got over the flu. It was brutal. I could not, for a couple of weeks. We just went to the pool today for the first time in 3 weeks. That's crazy. We go multiple times a week. So, and even at that, I had to take it easy. So I'm going to see if I can stretch that a little bit more, the thread. Now, here's the thing. This stuff is really soft and stretches well. You see how it stretches? So this one here, I made a little thicker, so you do see this kind of like curved bumpiness, but again, it flattens out nicely. If you want it super tight on the inside, I'm looking at it almost, it's the same color, but once it's on there, it looks a little whiter. But I would imagine this gets dirty, so I don't know. I have to look up how to wash that. I'm sure if it was like when we had suede boots, what we would do is put some steam on it and a brush and like kind of go back and forth with the brush to clean, like a soft brush. So I'll have to check that out for you. I get my pliers for this. There. So this does kind of mess up your thread. You probably don't need a full wingspan. That's what I used. I think what we'll do is when we finish this piece, we'll cut it off. I might take a new fresh piece of thread because I made a wingspan thinking we're going to do the whole thing. But you know what I did actually on that one is once I got done this, I made sure that it was knotted so that the tension was correct. And then I took my thread and went through to get back to this side. Yeah, I think that's all we need to do with that. So a couple more stitches here. And geez, I apologize. I didn't have the camera set for the focus. So I hope it hasn't. Oh, I just looked up and it's doing its little spasming thing. This camera, I'm using it in a way that's probably not meant to be used. So when I set the focus, there's a little like bar that says focus set. They take that bar and right up here where my timer is on how many minutes the video's going, that's how you can tell the video's actually still going. It puts it right on top of there so you can't see how much time there is. So it's one of those things that's annoying, but if I don't set the focus, it just goes back and forth every time I move my hands, and that annoys me. Let me know if that annoys you. I'm doing my best here. I'm trying really hard to remember to. Now, that's a question I have for you. I'm going to say ladies and Richard. I know there's more men that watch this channel, so I'm talking to you too. I'm pretty sure that the majority of the people are the same age as me. What's up with the memory thing, man? I used to have what they call an eidetic memory. If I saw something, I could remember exactly all the details of what I saw. So that's, I think, why I'm so good at portrait painting for people's, because then I can also translate images that I see onto paint and canvas, and I can get the dimensions almost exactly. Like I've taken a photograph, painted it or drawn it, and then taken the photograph and put it over top of the thing, and the measurements are exactly. So anyway, that's how I used to see things. No, I can't even remember to focus the darn camera. What's up with that? That's not friendship. I don't want to be that little old lady. You know, I say to Jen all the time, "Oh, honey, we're getting old." She's like, "Correction, you are old." I'm like, "Yeah, but at least I'm 7 years younger than you." We were watching Colbert and this today, and he had Evie, his wife, on there, and he was reading something she had written when she was 12 years old. And he made a dig about her being so many years older than him. And I think Jen made some kind of funny comment about that. I said, yeah, well, at least I'm not as old as you. It's a good thing we sit on the other side of the couch. Yeah, we have fun teasing each other. So the story of my eidetic memory, another really interesting thing is I didn't realize I had that ability. And when So I have bipolar disorder. When I'm manic, it gets even stronger, that ability. And when I was first year nursing school, I was major manic. And I would study for exams, and we may have gone a bit too far. Let me see here. I would study for exams, and I'd go to write the exam, and the question, whatever the question was, I'd think about the textbook, and I could see the pages in the textbook, and I could go down in my brain, go down to the paragraph where the answer was and write it out. It was so incredible. So I think like I went a little too far. You could see but that's what I was saying about this. We can take the form and push it through. We don't want a whole lot through, just enough that once we fold it, it will fold over. So I think I probably less there. Okay, so like that. I'm going to untangle my needle. It's all twisty now. Yeah, I definitely have way too much thread on here. So that memory thing, it's definitely not the case now. Although, here's the thing, when I'm painting, if I don't think about it that much, it just happens automatically. So for painting, I can do that. If I totally relax my body and my arm and painting, the way I'm holding the look, there's a knot. There we go. So let's shorten this. I think this is way too long here. So I'm going to bring my needle through a little further like that and cut this off. And I'm going to pull it through a little more. You don't want to leave a short end there. When you start to go through, it will come out. Okay, that should do it. Now I can untwist. Look, it's all twisted again. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Get this out there for you. Okay, we're set. Let's see what we got. Okay, so I'm gonna fold it like this. We're probably gonna put another stitch there and then this there. So what I want you to do is like pinch it like this. This is what I did. You can figure out the best way to do it for yourself, or try this piece here. We're gonna cut it shorter and shorter as we go, and the thing slid back. So let's go to about there. So you're gonna fold that in. Like that. I'm just wondering if I need to cut some more off here. Let's cut there. Cut this one. Try and get it so that it's even with the other piece. Like that. And I'm going to move it over a bit like that. Scooch it and bring that through. So you see what I'm trying to do, but there's going to be a bit of buckling here. Like that, but we'll be able to clip some of it off, but we won't do that yet. We'll have part of it stitched up. So let's go through here. I think this thing is sliding. It's so kind of loose on there. Okay, let's get this one in. And this one there. And this, just hold your thread on the other side so it does not twist up. That was my mistake of putting too much on, and it's probably loosened the weave a bit, which is twisting it up. So now we should be able to look. Nice. That's what I was trying to do. So you might have to do that in a couple of steps. So now we're going to take this thread and go across here. We're going to go up to there. When we get to there, we might have to cut a little piece off. So let's make sure that's in there. Nice. Okay. We had, in nursing school, we had some people that were pretty competitive. There was one lady that was pregnant during nursing school. I'm going to leave it this long, but we're going to slide this back out like that. So you see, then it's not long. So let's come to here. Yeah, so she was pregnant. She already had an infant at home. I guess not an infant anymore. It was probably, had to be at least 9 months. Just saying. Well, depending on what time of the year it was. But anyway, she had planned the second pregnancy for the summer break. I was just like blown away. I'm like, okay. And she had the highest marks of everybody. I think initially she wanted to be a doctor, but she, I don't know what, family maybe? Go figure. But yeah, so she comes back. She's like full on pregnant by the time May comes, right? When we finish our classes. And then she's comes back next year. Slim. That's the other part. How do you do that? These poor ladies that have children and the weight stays on. Okay, I'm just trying to find the good spot here. I'm going to move my scissors. I keep reaching for them when I want my pliers here. Just going to hang on to that there. So this is going to be covered up. I should have said that at the beginning with your beadwork. So you don't have to worry about how detailed it is. So I think what we'll do, now I know why I had my scissors, is we'll cut an angle here. And we'll cut an angle here. So that will take some of that bulk out of there. And we can start stitching this down. But yeah, we'd have our marks, they'd post them just outside the dean's office. And of course, you're going to look and see who got 100. That would have been her every time. Now, I'm just saying, mine were in the high 90s too. We might have to take this a bit here. It's feeling a bit loosey-goosey. No, you know what it is? The bar slipped again. I mean, you could put a bit of glue to get it to keep its shape or keep from moving around, but I don't think it needs it once we get this all in there. So let's one more stitch here. Excuse me. I'm gonna check, unlock the focus. Okay, good. So it's showing 40 minutes. This could have been faster without the jibber jabber. But that would be no fun. This is okay. So now I'm going to come through here. That's going to cross this thread over, and then that will close this one up really nicely. That we'll do a stitch on that side, and then we'll do this one. We could probably, yeah, do the same. And let me push that through so that we get some tension on there. Wow, it's really slipping. There, and that should go down. So let's come to this piece here, and we're gonna do. So I think, I mean, you don't have to do this much detail on this side, but I kind of like to make sure that every little piece is secure, and snug. I don't know if I told all of you, when I was a nursing student, obstetrics was my favorite. But when I graduated, there was no work for nurses, let alone obstetric nurses. So I feel like I should have left a little tiny bit narrower because it stretches so much but once we get this done, it'll be fine. So let's go here. Yeah, so when we did obstetrics, we did a lot of community stuff. So we went to the breastfeeding classes in the community and stuff like that. But the stress test clinic where they hook up the mums and babies, heart monitors, and give them an orange juice to get them activated and see how they're doing. But and then we worked on the floor as post-op. We had one opportunity to do get this little slit on each side here. Just a small slit. If you need a little more, you can, but you don't want to cut too much away. There, that should do it. I think I need a little more off of here, so that you don't cut your thread. There. That should do it. Yeah, I got called to the dean's office, and I was like, oh my God, what did I do? And she's sitting there reading the newspaper. Here's the thing with nurses, if you have nurses in your family, Now, when we used to get the newspaper, I used to do the same thing. Now, I didn't work in this community, so I wouldn't know the people kind of thing. But nurses will read the announcements and obituaries because most often they had those people for patients. Just want to untangle this here. Okay, let's get this through without some tangles. Get tangled already. Get my needle under there. See if that'll do it. So she was reading the birth announcements, and in the birth announcement, it thanked Nurse Emma, nursing student Emma. So I think she said that doesn't happen. That's, so that was kind of nice. But you can imagine if you really enjoy your job, and I was still just a student, but I was like, this is what I want to do. This is so much fun. This is like, how could you not be happy working? People are happy because there's this new little creature that's joining the family. I'm going to see if I can untwist this a bit. And I'm going to cut this off a bit here. And we're almost done this side. But yeah, it was really nice. That. And I'm going to push this out a bit. I think we can stretch that a little so there's not so much bulk there. We're going to take this side, pull it down. We're going to do another stitch. That. And then when I graduated, I ended up working in North Carolina for 7 years, which I find interesting now with all the stuff going on. Okay. I feel like we could probably cut another little corner off here. Let me see. Yeah, I think we need to trim this without cutting anything and without going too close to the edge here. If you go in there, then you can still fix that, but all you have to do is release the bar a little in and then tuck it in. Where do I want to go? Let's go through here. Yes. The first town I worked in was Ahoskie, North Carolina. And then I worked in Gastonia, North Carolina. So let's see if we can grab a piece here and then poke it through that corner, coming off to the corner. I'm going through 2 thickness, that's why it's snug. And let's put your thumb there to stop the curling. You can see it's curling. And go all the way, and then I'm gonna push that out so you can see the more I pushed it, it was less buckling. It's looking good. I am going to go through here. Oh, not enough. We need a little more. There. Okay. See if we need to scoop this. Yeah, I think we do need to get our needle in there and draw that in. So let's pull it tight. Get in here like that. Put the thumb on it to stop the curling. There. Okay. I'm going to push that in tight and then tuck that. That's going to be perfect. Let's get back here. There. Now, what you can do for this end, because you want to make sure that it's not all like buckled, you can either do it with your fingers or you can take a little, like a chasing hammer or a nylon hammer, or you can just take your pliers. All I did for the other one was I just kind of smooth those little corners down, flatten it. Right there. You can see it flattens it really well. And I'm going to push that through. That will round that out really nicely. Like that. Perfect. Okay. So this is what I was saying. You want to make sure that this part here, your last strand going through, is maybe knotted a bit so that it doesn't loosen over time. So maybe we'll just do a little bit of like this, then go around with your thread and that. Bring your needle through. Purse came off just in time. Let's untangle this like that. And make sure this is not tangled like this. There we go. And we're going to take our thread and tuck it under here. We're going to go up to the other side. So I'll pause the camera. I'll do the other side and show you what it looks like when it's done. I was going to stop before we got to the end here, but this was enough of showing you how to do things on this side. You just have to basically remember to keep some tension, definitely when you get near the end, because this side you do have to have it nice and tight so that this part is not loose. But I think I probably could have done with thinner or a less wide strip to really get it snug and tight. But so I'll be right back. Show you in a sec. Hi everyone, just a quick little tip. I ended up putting a clip on this because it was moving around too much. So I pulled it as tight as I could, and you can keep adjusting this, and then when you get closer to there, just move it aside to get the stitching in. So I'll go ahead and do this and we'll be right back. Hi everyone, I'm back. I did decide to show you because once I put some new thread on and a shorter strand of thread, so probably, let me see, maybe like 20 inches of thread made a huge difference going through. The other thing is this side feels thicker, so you have to remember, and actually if you look at this, you can see the difference in the thickness. So this one was a lot thicker than this, and this is, you can feel it's very, like, it's really thin in this area here. Let me adjust the camera. So this area here, it took me less than 10 minutes to do, and the thread and needle went through so well, I didn't need my pliers. So just, you know, as a reminder for myself too, is that it's not, you know, and I went ahead and cut. And what I was doing was I was cutting this area here above where my thread is coming out of, just enough. I'm going to put another stitch, maybe on both sides, and then cut this. But make sure when you cut this, it's, you kind of want it on an angle so that the angle comes down a bit, but not too much that it's going to go past your bar. So then it comes up here, and do a bit of a rounded to fill in that little diamond shape like that. And then we'll either clip those corners or just tuck them in, because now it's so thin that it shouldn't be a problem. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm sure, you know, if you've done any sewing at all, you'll have some. Look at that, how easy that was. So that's why I thought I better come back and show you, because it looked really difficult before. It's not that difficult. So now I have my needle and my thread coming out here. I'm going to fold that down and grab the other side, but I'm going to go back towards the middle there. So in through here, that, pull that through. Now it's a bit slippery, so there we go. That, tuck that one in, go through the middle of that, and come a little bit onto the side here. And put your finger down so that you're holding your deer skin so it doesn't distort it. And watch it gets hooked there. Pull that in, pull that. Look at that, it's closing it up nicely. So now we're going to come up here, go across here. There's a little bit of thick spot, but it must be not compressed very well because it's sliding through. The needle's getting through nice and easy. That. And pull everything really tug. I'm going to do one more here, and then we'll cut the little tips off and then bring them in. That. So make sure it's nice and tight. Now our thread is right there. I'm going to cut this little sliver off because it is a little too much there. So pull my thread away, something like that, and then fold it in and then cut it there. And we'll do the same here. Just a little cut, and then we'll start tucking those pieces in. There. That. Tighten that, and you can push it down with your finger. I am gonna bring my needle in through this single layer. See if I can bring it forward. Like this, and then this down. Yeah, that'll work. So when you test it like this, bring it forward with your thread on there. Now that looks like that's way too much bulk. Test it with your finger, you press it down and kind of massage it a bit. It's still a little more than I would like, but I think as you learn, it will get better. And you can see I'm taking my nail and just kind of moving that around, and it's massaging really nicely. So we are good. Just gonna continue in this area. Like that. That is lovely. So you could put another stitch there and another stitch there. I don't think it needs it because we are going to be stitching on top of this anyway. So let's get... Let's see where I want to... Yeah, let's do this. Let's cheat and do this. You can cheat at this point. Did you know? There's no cheating in beading. You guys are laughing. Yes, there is. Do it all the time. Look at that. Lovely. And mash it down. Look at that. That is awesome. That looks nicer than the others. Well, they both look fine. They're going to be covered up. You don't have to worry about it, right? So let me get in here and there. Pull that in. Pull that over. Oh yeah, this is lovely. Okay. Let's tie this off. Let's let me come in here. There. And we'll find a thread bridge somewhere here. If you don't, you can pop it through. There, I found a thread bridge. Do that. Wrap that twice. Bring your thread down and hold that area. And bring your thread through. And you are ready to... You can use this again, but you know what? It's not worth the trouble of a twisty thread. So I'm gonna get this, tuck this in somewhere, and come out. And that'll be done for that thread. And stay tuned for the next video. We're going to put the heart strip on there, but I'm going to show you what it looks like. We'll do a little dry run there, like that. And clip that. There's your lovely form. Nicely covered. It's so soft. Oh, I love it. I love it. This is going to be amazing. Look it. So this here, you can see it's going to be exposed. What I did was, and we'll do that in the next video, when we're attaching this is we're going to start out by completing the two ends with some peyote stitch and decrease so that it gives it a rounded effect, like I did here. I wasn't quite happy with the way I used some 11-0 seed beads. I think it would probably work just as well. Or I used 15-0 seed beads there. I think 11-0s would be fine. Here's the other thing. I have a question for you. What you think I should use to attach it? So on this one I used 15-0 seed beads. You can see them there. But I didn't like this pokey look of it. Almost looks, this was meant for a man's bracelet. I could go through and put some Cylin beads in between on this edge. I kind of like the straight edge is what I'm getting at. Now I have seen some done where they take the Cylin bead and they go straight across, like stacking them one in front of the other rather than sideways like this, and attach it that way, and it looked really nice. So there was a nice straight line of beads, not bumpy round beads. Which should we do? It's up to you. You gotta let me know. So we'll be right back and we'll complete this lovely heart bracelet for your best friends from Best Friends Forever from John Bead. Don't forget, the links are in the description for the next box. You have to order the next box. Oh my god. I would not tell you that if I didn't mean it. I'm just saying, Victorian steampunk. Can you put two eras together like that and come out with brilliance? I think so. Stay tuned. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.